Video coverage of IT Expo is brought to you by Content Boost, the content marketing specialists. Amplify your sales today.
Hi, Rachel Ramsey here, IT Expo in Miami. I'm here with Dave Gilbert, the big cheese of SimpleSignal, and Andy Abramson, the CEO of Comunicano. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
thanks, Rachel.
Yeah.
Great to have you. So let's start off and tell me a little bit about SimpleSignal.
Okay, so SimpleSignal is a unified communications service provider that seeks to unify everything that a business uses to communicate and collaborate.
Okay. So one of the biggest trends here at the show and just in technology in general is mobile. So what do you do when the world has gone mobile? How do you react as a business and adapt your communications?
Yeah, that's one of the coolest things that's happened to us, but it's also one of the most complex because now we're getting calls on our iPads, we're getting calls on our phones, we're getting calls on this phone that's on your desk, and we need to somehow unify all of that so that you're not having to check all those devices, for instance, just to get your voicemail. So that's the old school way of checking things. Now it all comes into one place. That one place is your inbox, and so you can even read your messages and not have to sit there and listen to them all to get to the one that you really wanted to hear. So we have ways in a world gone mobile to make it actually more simple than ever to run all of those modalities of communication that today businesses are used to using. So,
well, like we're using SimpleSignal in our office, and when I want to talk to people, I'm able to just quickly look and find their status inside their presence within any one of the various clients that we're using, whether it's Bria from Counterpath or Real Presence, things like that. We're able to just quickly just say, I want to talk. Now I've got a video call going, but I'm doing that on a mobile device. I'm doing that from an iPhone or an iPad. I've thrown away the desk phone. I've gone mobile. So when I leave my, quote, office and go on the road to be at an event like this week's TMC IT Expo, my office is with me. My contacts are with me. My ability to reach people, including Dave or my staff, is with me. It's not stuck on some old idea of a desk phone, and it's on my laptop, it's on my tablet, and it's on my phone, but I have unification of all my services. I can now quickly spin up a video call and have a one-on-one call or do a group video call over SimpleSignal because they've put together all the tools. And then if I want to go theater-like, which means I can have 20 or 30 people, a combination of my team and Dave's team, we have the ability to quickly and easily do it with reliability. And that's a big difference in where we were, say, 5 years ago when everything was running and sort of kind of being pieced together. This reliability becomes real important.
well, and you can do that anywhere in the world. You just ran around the world in about 30 days. And
60.
You were 60 days, and you were never out of touch.
You called me, I was somewhere on a golf course, and you were saying, I wish I was playing there, and it was my morning and his afternoon, and I was on the other side of the date line. And that was in wine country, and it was like, I was working, but I was someplace else. But all Dave did was he called my number, and it found me, one number, and it found me, and it didn't matter what I was using or where I was, and I wasn't even in the same time zone, geography, hemisphere. I was halfway literally around the world down under when that happened.
Well, and sometimes you were wireless, sometimes you were over the IP connection, sometimes you were over the wireless IP connection, and it all worked seamlessly to hold you together. That's what's happening in a mobile world.
So what happened was he was able to call me. If I was in my hotel, I might have had my laptop plugged in with an Ethernet connection, but I was getting it over a soft client. If I was out driving around, he was still calling me, and if I was on the mobile data network, the call was coming in over the data network. Now what that meant was the call was at high definition audio quality, whether it was G722 or Silk, it didn't matter. The network did the negotiation. It found me on the mobile network. When I wasn't reachable over LTE or 4G, when I was in Australia or New Zealand or Europe, it found me on a local mobile network. The call still found me because of the concept of find me, follow me. It went out and looked for me. It said, you're not there, forward the call to the other number. And because all that stuff was programmed on the back end, it made it simple.
Well, and that's pure wizardry. You must be a wizard.
No, I just entered the phone numbers in the little fill in this blank form and find me, follow me.
Well, then it had to be expensive.
No, it didn't cost 1 cent more.
Well, what do you mean 1 cent more? Because like when you travel European countries, that cellular network is expensive. How did you get around all that?
Well, so first, when a call comes in, the calling party pays everywhere else but the U.S. So inbound calls are free to the person receiving it. So Dave, it did cost you some money to call me, but it didn't cost me any money to get the call.
Ah, okay.
Now, on the other hand, when I originated a call back to Dave, I was originating the call on the IP side. I'd already paid my $30 for a month of 5 gigabytes of data. As far as the carrier down there was concerned, I already paid him $30. So I was just using part of my data bucket bundle that I'm already using. And because the call quality was better, I was making all these calls over the network as opposed to making a lower quality call using the mobile operators network, which, by the way, as part of that $30, all my calls back to the States were also free.
Yeah, it's just amazing what we can do that way.
Yeah. So Dave, you're speaking here at IT Expo this week
Yes.
on mobility and then on another technology as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this mobile thing has really been fun. Andy and I just came off of a panel that we were on talking about this, and so it's kind of big in our minds right now. But this afternoon, Andy and I are going to come back at it again and talk about WebRTC. And really, is that a threat to today's communications, or is that something that is going to change it for the good? And so it's very possible it's a little bit like fire, where it could be used for good or bad, and so we have to treat it carefully. But it's coming at us. That genie is out of the bottle. So
Some people will say it's not ready for prime time. Others will say prime time isn't there yet. The thing with WebRTC is it's technology that makes it very easy to do a lot more with a lot less. So at my house, I'm running a Google Android Chromecast, a Google Chromecast laptop, connected via to a Chromecast, a Google Chromebook, connected to a Chromecast rather. Too many things, Chrome this, Chrome that, using the Chrome browser, and I'm able to take different pieces of technology and use it in a WebRTC environment. However, when I get to a hotel, not exactly ready yet because of things like port blocking, port forwarding, packet sniffing, all types of issues, but they'll get resolved. So I'm saying prime time isn't here yet, but those of us who know how to use it, just like those of us who originally started to do voice over IP 10 years ago,
yeah, that
15
was
years
all
ago.
new and disruptive. Really, it's just been a little disturbing.
So now
it's about to get really disruptive.
Now what we're
Yeah.
seeing is instead of it being a SIP client, it's going to be a WebRTC service. But what you can start to do with WebRTC and how you can collaborate and bring different pieces together and bring in dashboards and get real-time data, you couldn't do that in the old days with a SIP client. You can with WebRTC, and that means that SimpleSignal and others like them will be able to sell a lot more services and mash up a lot more services. All that data that's sitting in Salesforce, that's not just going to be a screen pop anymore. It's going to be a full screen view of who we're talking to.
Video. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your time. It was great meeting with you guys and look forward to seeing you at the rest of the show.
Thank
Thank you.
Video coverage of IT Expo is brought to you by Content Boost, the content marketing specialists. Amplify your sales today.